Today, we're jumping into a huge, and I mean huge, question in education. We're not just going to talk about AI in the classroom, but about a whole system that uses AI to build something that's way more important: students who can actually teach themselves. Let's get right into it. So, this is the big one, isn't it? Information is everywhere, AI tools are becoming totally normal, and, well, the old model of a teacher just standing up and delivering facts just doesn't cut it anymore. The real goal, the new finish line, is to create learners who are self-sufficient and autonomous. But how on earth do we actually get them there? Well, it turns out that the very same technology posing this challenge is also a key part of the solution. The answer involves bringing in a new kind of partner for the student, an intelligent assistant. And that brings us to this really fascinating concept from Germany called the Vertrauen system. Now, that translates to the trust system, and it's exactly what it sounds like: a structured way to systematically build up a student's independence, with AI right at the core of that journey. The whole system is built around 4 very distinct levels. I want you to think of it like a ladder. Every student starts at the bottom, with a lot of support, and then they gradually climb their way up, earning more freedom and more responsibility with every single rung. So here are the 4 levels, the 4 rungs of our ladder. We start at basis, which is basically the foundation. Then you move up to starter, where students get to take their first real steps. After that is Durchstarter, which we'll call the go-getter level. And finally, at the very top, you have the Lernprofi, the learning pro, total autonomy. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning of this journey. The first 2 levels, basis and starter, are all about one thing: building a rock-solid foundation of rules, routines, and responsibility. You have to nail this part down before any real freedom is given out. So at the basis level, picture an incredibly structured environment. Seriously, the main focus here is on safety and learning the absolute fundamentals. Students only work in their classroom, always under direct supervision. They're using traditional stuff, books, worksheets, and any AI is totally passive, led 100% by the teacher. The goal here is just to establish discipline and routine. Now, the starter level, this is where students get to earn their first very carefully controlled taste of freedom. They can start using digital media, but they need permission. They can start working with a partner, but again, with the teacher's approval. You see, this is that crucial bridge from being totally dependent to having some guided independence. And right here, side by side, you can really see that progression. The location goes from just the classroom to maybe a common area. Media used goes from 0 on your own to needing permission. And this is the big one. AI use evolves from being passive and teacher-led to guided interaction with tools like MOOCs. It's a slow, steady, but really significant change. Okay, so once a student really masters those basics, they're ready for the big leap. The next 2 levels, the go-getter and the learning pro, are where self-directed learning just absolutely takes off. At the Durchstarter or go-getter level, the amount of responsibility just expands like crazy. These students can actually move around the school building to find a good place to work. They can use digital media like an iPad without having to ask every single time. And here's the game changer: they can independently use AI tools to get instant feedback on their work. Then, at the very top of the ladder, we get the Lernprofi, the learning pro. These students have earned maximum trust, maximum autonomy. They can work pretty much anywhere on school grounds, they manage their own schedules, and they can use any resource they need. And get this, they aren't just using AI tools anymore, they're actually creating and adapting them to design their own learning experiences. This is that final leap. You can see it right here. Location expands from the building to the entire campus. Media use becomes totally unrestricted. And the use of AI evolves from just getting feedback to actively creating and adapting AI courses. This is literally the definition of a self-directed learner. So, we've seen the what, those 4 levels. But now let's talk about the how. What's the specific AI tech that makes climbing this ladder even possible? The key here is to think of AI not as a teacher replacement, but as a co-pilot for the student. A central tool in all of this is something called the AI MOOC. Okay, think of it like this. If a normal online course is like a digital textbook, an AI MOOC is like a personal tutor that builds a custom lesson just for you, right on the spot. It's an instant, adaptive course on basically any topic, with text, videos, and quizzes all made to fit that one student. And the process is actually incredibly simple. a teacher, or hey, even an advanced learning pro student. Just chooses a topic, uses a special GPT to generate all the course content, and then hits publish. And just like that, boom, they have a custom interactive lesson ready to go. But it's not just about creating courses from scratch. It's also about support along the way. This feedback GPT is a perfect example. A student can just snap a photo of their math homework, and the AI gives these constructive little hints like, hey, you might want to double check your units in question 2. But it doesn't just give away the answer. And that is so crucial because it actually teaches them how to find and fix their own mistakes. And it's the same idea here. This spelling diagnosis GPT can look at a photo of something a student wrote, identify patterns of errors, in spelling or grammar, and then suggest specific exercises to help that exact student improve. It's super personalized feedback, and it's available anytime. And to manage all this learning, there's a tool for the big picture. The Competency Grid GPT can take a huge topic and break it down into different skill levels. This gives students a clear map of their learning journey. It shows them exactly where they are and what they need to master next. It makes their progress visible, which really empowers them to take ownership. Now, here's the most important part. This isn't just a cool theory. This system is actually being used in the real world. And honestly, it's producing some pretty remarkable results that go way, way beyond the classroom walls. Get this. At one school in Germany, the Schul-MOOCs, this whole trust system has led to the creation of a full-on student-run company called fairimage.de. These students, a lot of whom are at that learning pro level, are applying their autonomy and their AI skills to a real business.
And just look at what they're producing. I mean, they're not just making stuff for a class project. They're creating actual products for sale. They build custom MOOCs for other schools. They use AI to generate these motive designs for t-shirts and bags. They even produce books using ChatGPT to help write the content.
And this is what that looks like in the real world. You've got students taking their AI skills, their design skills, their project management skills, all the stuff they learned by climbing that trust system ladder, and they're creating tangible professional quality products. I mean, this is the ultimate proof that the ladder actually works. They've climbed all the way from dependents to becoming creators and entrepreneurs. And all of that brings us to our final and maybe most critical question. This entire system fundamentally changes the whole dynamic of the classroom, right? So if students are empowered to direct their own learning and they're using AI as their co-pilot, what does that mean for the role of the teacher? It's clearly no longer about being the keeper of all the knowledge. It's about becoming something more, something like a guide, a mentor, and really the architect of this whole incredible journey.